You know, there was a point for me as a kid where I just kind of stopped buying wrestling games, and that specific point was between SVR 2010 and WWE 13. And it was for one very simple and one very logical reason. Jeff Hardy wasn't going to be in these games, and I still had my copy of 2010. So SVR 11, WWE All-Stars, WWE 12, get them shits out of my face. And even when 13 was announced, I still gave it a bit of a side eye. And then the cover was revealed on Raw, which I thought was kind of cool, but I still ain't getting it. Why? Because I hated CM Punk. Jeff Hardy fan. But then the trailer dropped and my heartstrings, they were tugged. And then Austin and Punk had that sit-down interview building up the hype for the game even more. And bro, I folded, gang. The marketing got to me, man. I gotta admit it. They did a very good job hyping up this game. I had to get this game now. And looking back, I'm really glad I did, because WWE 13 is an amazing wrestling game. Just talking about it brings back so many good memories and so much nostalgia, and even playing it now in 2025, it still holds up really, really well. And I'm sure it brings back a lot of nostalgia for a lot of y'all out there, so join me in this fun trip down memory lane. Ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy Mo if you don't already know, and this is what makes WWE 13 such a classic. As soon as I fired this game up, man, the vibes are just immaculate. From how the menu screen looks, giving off this dark and gritty feeling, and then whoever chose the songs for the menu screen should have got a raise. Because it's all banger WWE themes like Metalingus, Cult of Personality, Broken Dreams, even David Otunga's theme was going crazy. But y'all should know the main song for this game, because if you ain't got Revolution by Pennywise in your playlist, you're slacking, my friend. Now, as far as this game's roster goes, for its time, it was freaking legendary. Because of course you got all the big names from WWE in 2012 like Cena, Punk, Jericho, Orton, Brock Lesnar, etc. But on top of that, the amount of Attitude Era legends we got in this game was wild. Austin, Throwback Rock, the Three Faces of Foley, Bret Hart, Shane McMahon was even back in the game. And then you had guys that hadn't been in the games in so long, like Ken Shamrock, The Godfather, X-Pac, and hell, because apparently THQ just rocked with us, we got Dr. Thugonomics John Cena just because. Stacked was an absolute understatement for this roster. Unfortunately though, I never really got the DLC because, you know, African parents don't exactly understand the concept of buying more content for the game they already paid so much money for. But if you did get that, you would get Mike Tyson, Brian Pillman, Ministry Undertaker, Rikishi. But then you had wrestlers that were already on the roster for years and for some reason were made into DLC this year, like Drew McIntyre, the Usos, even AJ Lee was DLC. But even then, the roster overall was a huge upgrade from previous games, no doubt. And not only is the roster improved, but the game visually just looks more clean and polished. Graphically, it's obviously not 2K24 level, but for the standards of 2012, looks pretty damn good. Lighting's been improved, wrestlers look a bit more like themselves, and even the gameplay is just so much more smooth from the year before. At its core, it's very similar to WWE 12, which was great, but they sped it up to honestly give it that perfect balance of simulation and arcade-feeling gameplay. The amount of hours I logged just doing random matches here was insane. Because if I want to have a regular match with graps that will make Meltzer lose his mind, I could do that. But if I just wanted to have insane spot fests that leave the ring looking like a war zone, I can do that too. The possibilities were endless here. You even had nice touches like the way blood would drip and stay on the mat, or even when you do a big move with weapons everywhere, the weapons would just bounce all over the place. And what makes it even better were the new additions, first of which being able to give your wrestler infinite finishers in exhibition. Genuinely, one of my favorite things to do was putting together a multi-man match and just going on an RKO rampage. And also catch finishers being introduced just hits so different. And it probably goes without saying, Randy Orton was my favorite wrestler to use in this game because of those two things. And that wasn't it either, because now we also got OMG moments. Superplexes to the outside, spearing people through barricades, or even taking two big men and just breaking the ring with the superplex. This stuff blew my mind back in the day, and we can't even do that kind of stuff now. And along with gameplay not being elite, we got two new match types on top of the ones we already had. Special guest referee was back for the first time since SVR 07, and it was made even better from that game, because now you could do it in almost every match type you wanted. And we also got I Quit matches, which we hadn't seen since SmackDown Shut Your Mouth back in 2002. So much fun to be had here just from playing matches. And that's what I love about this game, especially after playing 12 so much more recently. WWE 13 took what they already had in the previous game and just built on it and made it even better, and that includes Create an Arena. Now, to be fully transparent, I don't really use Create an Arena like that. I tend to leave it to the experts in community creations, but I went ahead and looked at it for this video. And this was the second year that we had it in WWE games, and it was even better than it was in 12. Because now you have awesome templates that you can build off of, but you can also now edit the stage to look how you want. This added more depth from the first created arena, but it was still simple enough for even buffoons like me to make something cool. Now, I will say Universe Mode was a bit of a step down from what we had the year before, but to be fair, I think all Universe Modes after WWE 12 are a downgrade, and I do think WWE 13's Universe Mode is still pretty good. It's probably not as in-depth with all the cutscenes and the swerves that we got in 12, but there's still some cool additions that we did get. For example, the ability to use custom arenas for any show, or even creating your own pay-per-view. So if you want to go in and create a whole Attitude Era universe like your boy did, you can do that. And what I love about these older universe modes are the unlockables we can get, giving us even more of an incentive to play outside of having a sandbox element. And honestly, had that just been the game without anything else added to it, this really could have just gone down as a solid wrestling game. You got an all-time great roster, elite gameplay, a better creation suite, and a solid universe mode. But that wasn't it. There was one more mode that this game had that took it from being just a good wrestling game to being something legendary, and that was unofficially the first ever version of Showcase mode, the Attitude Era mode. The Attitude Era was and still is the biggest era in pro wrestling history, and in many ways is the reason why WWE is the juggernaut they are even today. And considering the time period this covered, this had to be something special. So the fact that they created a whole mode for us to play through all these incredible moments and matches, this was so well done. We had never seen anything like this before, and I gotta be honest, I don't know if any of the 2K showcases have done it any better than this. This had the most matches of any showcase that we've ever had, 66 in total with all the bonus matches unlocked throughout. There was so much attention to detail put into it too, from JR and King on commentary, to the timeline graphic before each match showing us the progression of the Monday Night Ratings war between WWF and WCW at the time. The cutscenes having real audio from all these moments, just making this as immersive as possible. And I think it did an incredible job of covering all the bases that they could. From the formation of DX to the debut of Kane inside the first Hell in a Cell match, the Montreal Screwjob, Austin's rise as the face of the Attitude Era, and just so much more. Almost every big moment that you can name from the late 90s, it was covered here. Such an innovative mode that was revolutionary for its time. And considering it only covered a little over half of the Attitude Era, this just went so in depth. I can only imagine how crazier this could have been if this went into 2000 and 2001. And from a personal standpoint, I got a lot of love for the Attitude Era mode because this is what honestly revived my passion as a wrestling fan. Don't get me wrong, I've always loved wrestling and I still do, but I was getting to that age where, my friends stopped watching and I was getting ready to follow suit. But playing through this Attitude Era mode and playing out all these iconic matches and moments from wrestling's past was really what gave me that spark to go back and just binge watch old Raws and SmackDowns and old pay-per-views and even get into WCW a little bit, which is kind of pretty much made me the wrestling nerd that I am today. So shout out to the Attitude Era mode and shout out to WWE 13, man. WWE 13 just has a special place in my heart for many reasons, but especially for the simple fact that it's an incredible wrestling game. And something that I love about this game too is that it can still be really fun for any age group, really. Maybe you grew up in the Attitude Era and being able to play through that mode gives you that rush of nostalgia. Or maybe you're just like me who was in 5th grade when this game came out and I just had a whole lot of fun while learning about the past of a business that I love so much. On top of the game just being immaculate in terms of gameplay, roster, just visual, it was just, for its time, it was perfect. And even now, as a 22-year-old man, this is still a game that is legit in my constant rotation of games to play. And like I mentioned before, this game did such a great job of building off its predecessor and giving us something even better and not feeling like the exact same game. WWE 13 is the true definition of a timeless classic because all this time later, it's really hard to find anybody that hates this game, whether it's because of nostalgia or because it's just that damn good. But what do you think about WWE 13? What kind of memories, nostalgia, feelings, whatever you got for this game, let me know in the comments down below. But that is it for me. I appreciate you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, let me know by liking the video, commenting down below, sharing the video around, subscribing to the channel, man. My goal actually for this YouTube channel is hitting 10K before WrestleMania. So if you haven't subscribed already, please do if you enjoy. But I'll see you on the next one. I'm out of here. I'm gone.